Hello out there. We're late. Kinda. But we're on the air. And we got our favorite we had our favorite guy here. And he's teasing us. He's taunting us almost. It is Wednesday. It is hump day. And just like every other Wednesday show we've ever done, very easy way to get a hump in today. Press the like button or send a zap over on Zapstream. Guaranteed. A guaranteed hump. How many times in your life have you heard that? You might have to do a little work yourself in terms of finding the humpy. Okay, why isn't Zapstream working today? What can I do here? Bitcoin journey. Hold on. I don't know why this isn't working for me. Zapstream's been the shits lately. bitcoinjourney.com/stream. Haven't used that link for a while. Hey, there we go. That worked. Doesn't say we're live though. Are we live on Zapstream? What the heck's going on here? Okay, we are live over there. Hello, Zapstream. Hello, YouTube. How's everybody doing today? It is Wednesday. It is October 23rd. I don't know why I did that. That was dumb. Okay, anyways. I tried editing my info over there on Zapstream and I accidentally zapped the channel. So anyways, I just zapped myself. It's what kind of morning it's been today. Slept in. Usually I get up about 6, just after 6. Today was just before 7. So I'm a little bit unprepared today. I'm not going to lie to you, but that's okay. That's my promise to you, is even on the days where we're not prepared, we're still going to show up and we're going to make the best of it. Sometimes those are the best shows. So I don't think that today will be an exception to that. Anyways, we got a bunch of people in the YouTube chat. We got not enough people in Zapstream. So if you are on YouTube and you feel like trying out Zapstream, simply go to bitcoinjourney.ca/stream. Or just go to Zapstream and I should be right at the top there. There's not a whole lot of streamers on the Zaps yet. But try it out. If you're on nostr, if you're a Bitcoiner, it's kind of a no-brainer to be using that instead of YouTube. But anyways, we got our number one comment today. Waro Segbo. Good afternoon, Sat Stackers. So I want to give a shout out to Waro because it led me down a little bit of a rabbit hole yesterday. Because he was on the show yesterday and he said that he was here from Freedom Jerry. Is that his name? Jerry for Freedom? I think it's Jerry for Freedom. Let me double check. I don't want to get that wrong. Because he's got a good channel. I really like his message. I feel like him and I are on the same wavelength with a lot of things. So I wanted to give a shout out to Waro and also give Jerry Loves Freedom a shout out. I just got to make sure that that's the right account though. I don't want to stray you wrong. Jerry Loves Freedom. Maybe I'll change this channel to be Jor Loves Freedom. Anyways, Waro, put your lightning address in the chat, or if you're on nostr, I guess let me know. But I'm going to zap you 88 sats, just like we do at the start of every show. So if you're still watching, good afternoon to you as well. Throw your lightning URL in the chat and we'll zap you 88 sats. Okay, who else we got over here? We got 88 sats radio. Slept in, but still going to make it. That's life. Letha, good morning. Timber Crasher, one of our Bitcoin journeymen. Good morning, Bitcoiners. Buck 52,000. Yellow. Oh, okay, I got you. Hello. I saw that, but as soon as I said it, it's like, what the hell is this guy talking about? Or girl. But that's it. Duncan, good morning. Good to see you. Duncan, what do we got here? If you put limits on everything you do, it will spread into your life. Hey, I know that. I know that one. Does that mean you received the I don't know. I don't want to give anything away here. I know that quote though. It's one of my favorite quotes. It's actually right here. Oh, it's got a nice coffee stain on it now. Look at that. Fresh coffee stain. Anyways, it says, if you put limits on everything you do, it will spread into your work and into your life. There are no limits. There are only plateaus. And you must not stay. You must go beyond. Okay, well, that's super weird. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there, Duncan. AD, good morning. Good to see you, brother. BTC Backpacker, slapping Bitcoin stickers around town today to spread the word. Man, what a good initiative that is. I want to spend another minute or two talking about this, because it was BTC Backpacker a couple weeks ago who was putting up lawn signs. So you have to be in the US, I think, for this, because I wanted to do this myself, but I'm pretty sure you have to be in the US to be able to do this. So this is a call to action to everybody today. And thanks for bringing this to my attention, BTC Backpacker. But so you go to bitcoin.rocks. Okay, I'm going to give you the route here. Now I want everybody to do this today. If you do one thing today, make it this. So you go to bitcoin.rocks. All right, I'll bring it up on screen here for you. It's a beautiful website. All right, so you got a whole bunch of topics here. You can send this website to your friends. You can just let them kind of go at it themselves, right? That's kind of the idea with Bitcoin, is you never want to force anything down anybody's throat, even on hump day. But so you can send them this website, but here's the beauty of it. This is what I want you to do. Okay, where is this? It's a very big website. Okay, well, let's see what we can do here. Okay, that's not it. I should have practiced this before I looked at it. Okay, I don't want to make you guys dizzy, so let me take this off for 1 second. Let's make myself dizzy. Okay, how did you even get these? How did I get that? Hold on here. Okay, I don't know. It's hard to do things live when you're not prepared for it. I can't find it right now. Anyways, the initiative here, and what I was trying to tell you, is basically with Bitcoin Rocks, you can go to their website. I thought you could anyways. Like, I literally did this last week. So I don't know. You're going to have to do a little bit of proof of work yourself here. But what you do, you go to bitcoin.rocks. You can get lawn signs if you're in the US, and you can get stickers if you're anywhere. I got a nice package of stickers, probably a dozen of them. And so from there, you actually take the lawn signs, you take the stickers, you go out in public, you put them on, not people's lawns, but like public spaces or boulevards or whatever you call it in whatever country you're in. You take a picture of it, and then you go into Nostr, you tag Bitcoin Rocks, and they zap you. They zapped BTC Backpacker 210,000 sats, $200. So they send the lawn signs for free. If you're in the US, you take them around town, you put them in the ground, you take a picture of it, you post it on Nostr, and I think for each lawn sign you get 21,000 sats, and I think they send them in packs of 10. So pretty great way to spread the word about Bitcoin without being too, forceful about it. But I'm sorry that I couldn't find that for you. There is a way, because again, I did it last week. So it's kind of hard to do things live, but yeah, I don't know. Go to their Nostr page. That's where you can, there's probably a separate website that I'm missing here or something. Anyways, and then for the stickers, you can get them anywhere. If you're in Canada, if you're in any country, I think they send them to you for free. And then you put the stickers up anywhere around town, anywhere in your community, and then they will zap you. I think it's 2,100 for a sticker and 21,000 sats for a lawn sign. So check that out. check that out. Duct tape, 88 sats is the new 50 cent. When is your album dropping? What does that mean? I see. I get it. It's the Bitcoin version of 50 cent. I got you. That's a good one, actually. Speaking of 50 cent, did you see Eminem last night at Kamala Harris's rally? Okay, I promised I wasn't going to talk about Kamala Harris anymore. But the one thing I'll say about that is with Eminem, and I feel like I've done this with a lot of music artists in the last little while. Like Eminem used to be on every single workout playlist that I have on my phone. Everyone. Like half of them were Eminem songs. But ever since I, was awakened, once I found out what the hell's really going on in the world, I haven't listened to one of his songs yet. And I've deleted all of his songs from my playlist. I don't want to, even though I love the music. I know that every time I listen to a song, it supports him and supports that evil. And so I just don't do it. And I would encourage you, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but do that with everything. Just drain them of your attention and energy. It's the only way we kill them. Not physically. Mikkel, sup you sat stack and sleuth. Why do you keep saying that? That's very hard for me to say. Good morning, Mikkel. Okay, speaking of what was it, killing people? There was an interview last night with Piers Morgan, and I forget who it was with. I watched it this morning, but I swear to God, it was like a skit from Borat. He talked like him, he sounded like him. It was like a conversation back and forth. It seemed like a skit from Borat. Like he was threatening Western politicians if they don't support Israel or something. It was wild. I wish I could find it. Maybe I'll try to find it in a bit here. Anyways, we can't be ignoring Zapstream here. We got Ahsoka over there. Hello out there. My Path to Fire is over there. Good morning, gang. And zapped 100 sats. Big up, Jor. Thank you, My Path to Fire. What a beauty. Hey, Matt, My Path to Fire, actually, I meant to reach out to you last week because I forget what we were talking about, but you said that you wear polos for work or for life or something. And we got a really good deal on our King Golf polos right now. So get in touch with me if you're interested. I'm obviously not going to put any sort of pressure on you. I feel like I remember you talking about polos. So get in touch with me. I'll send you a couple polos for a very small amount of sats. We got a good deal going on the show right now. So I'll give you that if you're interested. Ahsoka zapped 69 sats for hump day. Speaking of that, I got to edit the stream info here, which I haven't even done yet. 15 minutes into the show. It's been a morning. Okay, where's hump day? For a hump today. There we go. We'll still count that for everybody who has sent a zap. You're still getting hump today, even though it wasn't the fund. NPub 1YT says, if you don't believe me or don't get it, I don't have time to try to convince you. Sorry. Sounds like Satoshi. Pasty. Hello, fellow Journey members. And zapped 420 sats. Saying peace, brother. My Path to Fire said, good job, George. Delete Eminem. Yeah, I just feel like that's the thing to do. We got Trudeau in the chat. What does that mean? Could you imagine? There's a guy on Nostr that's named oh, it is Justin Trudeau. There you go. Oh, that's good stuff. And Daniel says, good morning, 138 sats. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that, my friend. All right, well, YouTube's going a little bit crazy. Sorry, I missed Jason here. Good morning, Jason. Good morning, Cold Deck with an E. And yeah, we got 22 viewers. Well, we got more than that right now, but only 12 likes. We got Mikkel coming in swapping in from Rick today for our liker reminder. All right. Well, we've caught up. We've got 33 watching, 28 likes. We're doing pretty good here and some zaps. So with that, let's get the show started here. Let's check on the Mempool. How are we doing? Well, we're all right. We're all right. So let's see what happened with the difficulty adjustment that we were talking about yesterday. So we are currently sitting at, oh, this is going to be loud. Oh no. We are currently sitting at block height 867006. So we've crossed another 1,000 blocks. So since January the 3rd, 2009, there has been 867,000 blocks mined. Each one of those blocks has about 3, 4, 5,000 transactions in it. And each one of those transactions will never be altered. Ever. Ever, ever. The last block was won by Spiderpool. Look at this. Holy. This is big. This is big. I don't usually get too excited on the Mempool right now. Or usually, but I am right now. So let's look at the difficulty adjustment here. So yesterday we were talking about we were 72 blocks ahead of schedule. So what does that mean? It means every 10 minutes, that's when there's supposed to be a new block. That's how the code was designed. And if the blocks are coming in faster than that, it means it's too easy for the miners. So they have to jack up the difficulty adjustment. It does it automatically. There's no human involved in this. This is the beauty of the Bitcoin network. So yesterday there was a previous adjustment of 4% upwards. All right, so it looks like after yesterday, we are 9 blocks ahead right now, which is still pretty early, but oh, look at that number. It's 8.88% upwards again, which means that there is a ton of new hash rate coming onto the network. So let's take a look at it. Holy, look at that. Wow. Oh, did it drop? That today? What's the date today? 23rd. Well, it's way up right now. So we hit an all-time high yesterday. I don't know if this is caught up yet or not, because that based on that difficulty adjustment and blocks coming in fast, it could just be a short-term thing. But anyways, we hit an all-time high yesterday in hash rate, which is the number one metric that we need to be using for Bitcoin, not the fiat price. So that's kind of cool. Okay, so Daniel shared the NPub for Bitcoin Rocks over on Zapstream. So if you're interested, if you want some stickers or some yard signs and you want some zaps from Bitcoin Rocks, then you can go check that out. Great initiative. And I was wrong. I said that last time I talked about it on the show here, I said that it was just a rich Bitcoiner or an early Bitcoiner who was giving away sats, but apparently it's like an actual organization where people donate to Bitcoin Rocks to help grow awareness or spread awareness, grow adoption. So I was wrong. But either way, great great initiative there. Mikkel says, Jor, have you ever read Major Jason P. Lowry's Thesis Software, a novel theory on power projection and the national strategic significance of Bitcoin? I have not, but I have seen a bunch of his interviews. I've seen a bunch of his tweets. I get the thesis around it, and I completely agree with it. There's a couple things there, though, that I want to mention on that, actually. It's a good, thanks for bringing that up. First one, Jason Lowry was in what? Space Force. Who created Space Force? We know. He was mocked. He was laughed at for creating Space Force. So one of the, I don't even know what you call them, majors in Space Force, Jason Lowry, is a Bitcoiner, big Bitcoiner. And it seems like his book has been banned. And it's now, people were talking about this in the chat the other day, but his books are now selling for $500 if you can get a copy of it, $500. And I remember about 6 months ago or a year ago when we first started the show, they were just selling you could buy them for $20 or $30 on Amazon. So they banned it. They said that they can't sell it anymore. And it's gone up to $500 per book. But here's the thing. Don't buy it. I said, this is what I said in the chat. Imagine spending $500 on a book about Bitcoin when you could just buy $500 worth of Bitcoin. And I think that's how you should be kind of approaching everything right now as a Bitcoiner. Unless you've been here for, 3-4 cycles within Bitcoin, maybe you got here in 2013, then you can do whatever you want. But for everybody else, it's like, apply that to anything. Imagine spending $500 on a clock that tells you the price of Bitcoin when you could just buy $500 worth of Bitcoin. Or imagine spending $500 going to a Bitcoin conference, or $5,000 going to a Bitcoin conference when you could just spend $5,000 on Bitcoin. Same kind of thing. We're in that stage right now where you should not be spending money on dumb shit like that. And I'm not saying, Bitcoin conferences are a waste of time. It's just like, unless you're at that stage where you don't have any concerns about money anymore, then you should just be buying Bitcoin. And Lowry had a tweet yesterday. It's probably worth mentioning here. I think I retweeted it. I do not like Twitter. I do not like the platform we're on right now, but they are necessary, I think, for reaching some of the newer Bitcoiners out there. So this was the tweet from Lowry yesterday. He said, "So much I wish I could say, ... one day." So we're going the old school method here. We're not bringing it up on screen. We're bringing it up on the little screen. Interesting. He's a very interesting cat. He tweets a lot and he deletes a lot of tweets, and the majority of his tweets are very cryptic. I don't know. Okay, I wanted to talk about this too, actually. My Path to Fire says, "I'm disappointed with my Semler stock, thinking to sell and just buy Biddy." I mean, that's never a bad idea. Always. That's always my advice on the show, is if you have any free cash that's out of the system, always buy Bitcoin. Buy Bitcoin, send it to your cold storage, leave it there for a very long time. But the reality is that most people have a lot of money locked up in the old system, in their pension and their retirement fund, savings account, all that. And it's such a hassle to be paying fees on it, paying taxes, having to worry about all that. So instead of, cashing out of that and buying Bitcoin, which I would never tell you not to do, because I did that myself. So, but for most people, they're not really at that level, at that stage yet. But with Semler, the one thing you have to keep in mind about Semler is that nobody really knows about it. Nobody really knows about MicroStrategy yet. That's how early this whole thing is. MicroStrategy has gone from a $1 billion company market cap to 20 billion in 4 years. And most people still have no idea who they are. So you kind of have to understand the layers of this. And this is why I think that Semler is a good buy right now still, because what's going to happen here, I think, for the next little while is that when people start to realize MicroStrategy's strategy, what they're doing here, I think that that's where most capital is going to flow into right off the hop. But then slowly, as they start continuing their learning, their understanding of this thing, I think that Semler is a much better buy right now. And I was watching a show yesterday, and they were actually talking about how MicroStrategy could actually acquire Semler. It would make sense for them to acquire Semler because they have very similar values. They're working down the same path. And Semler is a cash cow. They have a medical product. They have a patent on it. They literally print cash, and they convert that cash into Bitcoin. And so just like MicroStrategy, in terms of the influence that the key shareholders have within Semler, they're very aligned there. So I don't think that I would sell right now. I think that it still has you just have to have some patience. That's the thing. I think MicroStrategy is going to go up faster, higher and faster. But I think that Semler is kind of a dark horse right now. And it's very cheap. You can buy them for like $25 per stock. And you just have to go in with a very long-term mindset. So it really depends. It's like, what do you want to do with your capital? What do you want to do with your gains? If you have a very long time horizon, you have free cash, put it in Bitcoin. If you want to put it in a tax-free, something that's going to shelter you from taxes, and say pay off some debt or buy a new car, buy a new hot tub, then put it in like a MicroStrategy. But if you're willing to have a little bit more patience than that, I do think that Semler is going to be one to keep an eye on into the next 2, 3, 4 years. Whereas MicroStrategy, you're going to see this cycle really, really bust out. That's kind of my thesis on it. I could be wrong, but don't sleep on Semler. I think that they're a really good, and if MicroStrategy acquires them, look out. Byron says, sorry, I'm way behind in the chat here, so I'm sure Byron's already left the chat. But if not, good morning. Is 25 million sats a good account of Bitcoin? Does that mean like what you should try to get to? Like, is that going to be enough? Or is that like how much you should have in one wallet? Because the answer to that, both of the questions, is yes. I think that if you have a long enough time horizon here, I think the 25 million sats is gonna if you can sit on that for a couple decades and you're patient with it, that's going to be more wealth that you can even fathom in your head. I think 1 million sats is going to reach the same. So 25 million sats. And here's another thing, and with talking about how much Bitcoin you want to get to, just realize that you're never going to stop. Like if you're watching the show right now, if you're here, if you're in Bitcoin right now, you're never going to stop trading your time, energy, and whatever currency you're earning in for Bitcoin, ever. So even if you have this goal of getting to 25 million sats, once you get to that, you're going to be getting more. As long as you're productive and adding value to society, that's always going to go up. So yes, it's good to have goals, like a hard goal that you want to reach for, but just understand the fact that we're never going back to that old fiat system, ever. So all of your time, all of your energy, all of the currency that you obtain for that is going to be put into Bitcoin forever. As long as we're here anyways. But yes, 25 million sats, that's one heck of a start. I think most people will end up with like 25,000 sats. Sad, but true. Bitcoin price prediction 2025. I mean, I don't know. Up, right? It's like we've seen gold hit an all-time high. We've seen silver hit pretty much an all-time high. I think it was higher in the 80s, but just like MicroStrategy stock that peaked in 2001, I think. But Bitcoin usually follows that. So do I think Bitcoin will hit an all-time high in 2000? Oh, sorry, this is 2025. Oh, I don't know. If I were to guess, like without putting any sort of real why behind it, I think it's going to get into the 200,000 or 300,000 in 2025, and possibly even higher than that. It could get to 500,000. I really believe that. We're in the perfect storm for what's coming here. And if you look back at the last halving cycle, 2020, where it went from 5,000 to 65,000, that's like what? 12x. So 12x from here would be a lot. And if you don't think that that's possible, like we have Wall Street here now. In 2020, we had people like you, people like me, or people like us who are buying Bitcoin and moving the price up. But now we have the biggest capital in the world who's trying desperately to get as much as they can of this. I think it could honestly get there. And I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just thinking that that's, logically, I think it could happen. I should frame this actually, even though it's a little bit off, but yeah, I like the coffee stain on there too. You must not stay, you must go beyond. It's kind of highlighted there almost. I like that. If anybody wants this, maybe the biggest zap today will get it. I don't think anybody wants that. Tommy D, good morning, buddy. Silverstone, by the way, great name. Parker, morning, Bitcoiners. Morning, Parker. Haven't seen you for a while here, buddy. Dale, may the sats be with you. Dale from our favorite brick and mortar Bitcoin shop. I love that. I love those. I think they're going to be very important in the coming years, the brick and mortar shops. Quick bit out of Regina, Saskatchewan. Tommy D says, we'll never understand why the fiat price matters to anyone with Bitcoin and cold storage. I couldn't agree more, man. But at the same time, like, I get it. I check the price a couple times a day just to see, because when it's running up, it's a very euphoric feeling. It really is. And when it's down, even though I know I'm not selling it, when it's down, I get some sort of like depression cloud sweep over my head, which is bad. But then I kind of snap out of it. And I think that that's why shows like this and me coming on here every day to talk about it helps a lot, because it's very easy to get trapped and stuck in your own head with negative thoughts. I don't think there's anything that you can do to combat that, to be honest with you. It's just what it is. Like when your net worth's going up, obviously you're happy. When it's dropping, obviously you're going to have some, you're going to be sad for a little while. But I think the important thing is just to snap out of it quick and understand that you're not selling it. Not only are you not selling it, but you can actually accumulate more of it for a very cheap price. It's most depressing when it's going down and you have no money to put into it. That's the worst. Okay, who else we got here in the chat? Duncan, psychic. You must be. Joey, I put 3 Bitcoin signs up at the local county tax collector. I've been there for a week and I'm checking every day. Oh, that's good stuff. That is great stuff, actually. Shout out to Joey for that. That's awesome. Timber Crasher says, I like the lawn sign and sticker idea. I drive a small road with a ton of traffic every day. Wonder what people will think when they see a Bitcoin sign all of a sudden. So the nice thing about the signs themselves and the stickers is that they don't say anything about Bitcoin on them. I think the signs just simply say, got inflation, and then a QR code where it takes you to that bitcoin.rocks website that I was showing you. So it doesn't say like buy Bitcoin or Bitcoin is the best asset or whatever, that would turn people off. I think people know inflation now. And so you see it says got inflation with a QR code. People get curious. They scan it, takes them to the website. And probably I would guess 90% of people, once they see it's bitcoin.rocks website, they just leave. But 10% stick around. I would guess. Those are just my ballpark numbers. And I think it's the same for the price of Bitcoin. And that's kind of what we have coming here in the next year. Is like a ton of new Bitcoiners coming into the scene. The majority of them, I'd say 80, 90% will buy Bitcoin, either sell it when it's going up or hold on to it and sell when it's going down. And that's it. We won't see them again for a while. But there will be 10, 20% of people like me, like you watching the show, who do stick around through that. And every cycle, we're going to kind of go through the same thing with that. And that's how we're going to make the shift into this new financial system called Bitcoin. Yes, Tommy, going back to the M&M stuff here. Once you wake up, it's impossible to watch even 90s TV without seeing the propaganda. Well, you know what? The 90s TV is a lot better than 2020s TV. Like Netflix, Disney, all the things that people watch now. There hasn't been a good new movie or show for like 15 years. Not only is it's not funny, but it's just like all woke propaganda. Like every show now has like a character of each, whatever. Same with television shows. I'm not getting it into that on YouTube, but it really it's a problem for sure. I hope he kept, Slim Shady. Nah, both of them are gone. Both of them are gone. Pretty pathetic what Kamala Harris is trying to do right now. Like it's funny. This is the only thing I'll say about Kamala and Trump right now. Like Kamala Harris, I think they paid Lizzo, I saw it was like $2.3 million to go to their event. It's just like these people are just so distracted. It's like, okay, are you paying for a fucking concert ticket or are you going to a political campaign? Like, why not? I know it's because they don't want Kamala talking. I know they want people to be excited for one reason at least. But then you look at Trump, and I was watching one of Trump's, I think it was in North Carolina the other day. Who does he have for an artist? Lee Greenwood. You know, the guy who sings God Bless USA. Great guy, great singer. But like nobody knows who he is. It's not about bringing people there for an act. They're there to listen to a person, a politician, talk about how he's going to improve their lives. They're not there to see some big Lizzo shake her ass around on stage. Like it's two completely different like type of people. Anton, good morning. Okay, well, let's get to sorry, I'm almost caught up here on comments, but I gotta check on some news here. Okay, let's save that one for a little bit. I wanted to share this today. I found this on nostr, and I thought it was kind of cool because the Bitcoin and everything that we're talking about here every day is based on Austrian economics, right? Actually, before we do this, we're going to give away some sats. You never know when the Bitcoin well is going to open up for business. Got some really exciting things happening with Bitcoin well right now, actually. We did our first season of, sorry, I'm just going to tell you this while I type in my info and stuff. But we did our first season of the Bitcoin golf tour this summer. And it's kind of cool, it's done now. I hope people watch it, but I also hope that nobody watched it because I'm not going to give it away just in case you watch it. But the idea there is that me and my buddy, we put in 1 million sats. We bought 1 million sats and we put it into a wallet. And the idea there is we want to try to see how many summers we can make that last. So we're going to do every summer is going to be a new season. We're going to do 4 rounds per year at different golf courses, film the whole thing, document it all, talk about Bitcoin, talk about golf, show the match. It was very stressful. We did a stroke play event. And if you're a golfer, you understand how stressful stroke play is, where you can't just move it. You can't just take a drop. You can't just hit in the bush and take 2 strokes, or you know what I mean? Like you can't take a max triple. You count every stroke. I'm pretty sure I took a 10 on a hole. But I think maybe it was an 8. Anyways, it was very demoralizing. But you also finish every putt. So if you're golfing like with your buddies in a league, whatever it is, like you hit one out of bounds, you usually just pick up and take a double or triple max. Whereas this, you have to count every single stroke. And with men's night and stuff, like anything within, that, it's a gimme. They just give it to you. But with this, we had to finish every putt. So it was a lot of fun. And again, the idea there is we want to see how many summers the 1 million sats will last, assuming that the price of Bitcoin goes up, our purchasing power increases every year, and every round ends up costing us less in Bitcoin. So that's the idea there. We're going to document the whole thing. I think it's going to last forever. We took predictions at the start of the documentary, and I said I think it's going to last forever. But we'll see. I could be wrong. But I don't think I am. All right, let's toss some coins into the wishing well here. So everybody who's watching the show, if you have a Lightning wallet, get it open, press the send button, and you're gonna have a chance to win some free Bitcoin this morning, courtesy of the Bitcoin well, which has been titled, which we're officially calling the official Bitcoin platform of golf. Pretty good name. Okay, here we go. Tossing into the well. Ready? Set? Hopefully you're ready. Let's have a big one today. Our wish came true. Well, it didn't, but still 500 sats. And if you're talking multi-generational wealth here, 500 sats in some years from now, if you hung on to that in a wallet, put it away, buried it in the backyard, woke up in 2 decades, you're going to be able to buy a lot of things with that 500 sats. I thought I heard Arnie coming. I tricked him yesterday into coming over here. Oh yeah, let's see if it's been claimed. Nope. Or yes, I mean. She gone. Oh, hold on here. Let me share that again. Okay, so big shout out to Bitcoin Well for being a sponsor of the show here and for giving away Bitcoin every single day to the viewers of the Bitcoin journey. A couple cool things about this is you can buy. I bought using Lightning the other day, sent it directly to my LB. So you send them an e-transfer or however you transfer money. If you're in Canada, if you're in the US, you can do that with Lightning or on chain. And you put in you go to Lightning. I got my LB in there. I sent an e-transfer. As soon as they receive it, that amount shows up in your wallet. I couldn't believe how fast it happened. You can do a recurring buy, and every time you buy and sell, you actually earn points. And every point, or not every point, but every 500 points, you get a toss into the wishing well, which you get free sats for. But the really cool thing you can do now on here is if you have an account and you've been verified and you've bought some Bitcoin on here, you can swap between on-chain and Lightning for what? 0%. 0%. So what I want you to do today, if you're in Canada, if you're in the US, just set up an account. I think that you should not only set up an account just to have as like a backup in case, you want to sell some Bitcoin. Here's the situation for me. And I've been through this before. So this isn't like a hypothetical scenario. When I first got into Bitcoin, I had Binance. That was my exchange. And I remember this very clearly. And it was about 1 a.m. on a Friday night, I think. And the price, I think it was like $10,000 at the time per Bitcoin. It dropped down to like 5,000 or below that. It just crashed. And it was like, okay, I was like, okay, it's 1 a.m. Do I want to, get on the screen right now? But I was like, you know what? I can't afford to miss out on this opportunity here. So I log into my Binance. I transfer some money onto there. And as soon as I go to buy it, it says that their service is unavailable, down for maintenance. So that's one issue is when it's crashing, you want to be able to buy it. You want to be able to take advantage of that opportunity there. But on the flip side of things, if you're somebody like me who has some Bitcoin set aside, like you got your main Bitcoin stack locked up in cold storage, but if you have a couple million sats or 100,000 sats set aside for something like a fund, I talk about it all the time on the show, then you want to be able to sell that when it's running up. And the last thing you want to happen is log into your account, try to sell Bitcoin on there, and it's down for maintenance. So what I would suggest is whatever country you're in, if you're in Canada, if you're in the US, get Bitcoin Well as one of your secondary, third, or primary. Like I've started using them as my primary account now, or platform, sorry. And then you're covered. You don't have to worry about it. If Shake Pays down, go over to Bitcoin Well. Bitcoin Well's down, go over to Bull Bitcoin. Right? That's kind of the setup there. So again, if you're in Canada, US, go to bitcoinwell.com/Jor, Jor. And you get 5 free tosses into the wishing well for doing that. So big shout out to them. They're going to be, we're going to be working together quite a bit, I think, in the future. So it's good to see. All right. What the heck's that? Oh, this is what I was getting to. So this is life lessons based on Austrian economics. And I got this from the Economista Austriaco. I don't know if that's his name or not, but anyways, we're going to bring it up. Okay, so let's go through these because again, one of the things about Bitcoin is that it follows a much different economic theory, right? I think most of us, including myself, like I went through school. I went through 4 years of college and university. I minored in economics. And what are you taught in school? What are you taught in university? Well, you're taught the basics of economics, like supply and demand, but you're also taught Keynesian economics in most universities. So it wasn't until I discovered Bitcoin and started going down a couple different rabbit holes that I actually discovered what real money is, what hard money is, and the importance of scarcity. So these are the life lessons based on Austrian economics. And I think it's it ties very well into what we're doing here. And I think that this is what society should be based around. So the first one here is that value is subjective. What's valuable to you may not be for others. Learn to recognize what truly matters in your life. So that's number one. And the crazy thing about that, we actually watched a video from Earl Nightingale yesterday on the second part of the show. And he kind of talked about that. He said that the best things in life are free, like your family, falling in love, like all these different things that we don't really think about. We just kind of take for granted, but they're the most important things in life, and they cost zero. So it's very easy to get wrapped up in, a valuable gold coin in your house, but think about what's really important. Learn to recognize what truly matters in your life. Number two, time is your scarcest resource. Every decision has an opportunity cost. Choose wisely where to invest your time and effort. I think this is the most important one of this list. Time. I'd say there's three things that are very scarce in the world. Number one is time, the most scarce. Because even with Bitcoin, we know how much there is. We know how much there's going to be. It's scarce, but it's predictable. With life, it's scarce, but we have no idea when our time's going to come. No idea. So I think that number one, time. Number two, Bitcoin. And number three, like what would you call it? Oceanfront property, like that kind of stuff. You can't create more land around oceans and waterfront property. Like that's number three for me. And good farmland too. So those two are kind of out of the realm of this conversation, but focus on the time and Bitcoin and really pay attention to how you're spending your time. Because you could have all the money in the world, all the Bitcoin in the world, but if you're just wasting your time, head down on your phone all day, then what's the point? Number three, central planning fails. Life is too complex to control everything. Trust decentralized processes, like your personal choices, to create order. This is also very important. I think that we're slowly moving into this type of a world, a very decentralized world. Most people are completely unaware of it. But even the fact that the internet came along, and I know that the internet's kind of been captured through the years, but the internet as it was, as a protocol, it really decentralized everything. It decentralized especially things like the media, where before the internet, you had radio, TV, and newspaper. Those were your three sources of information. And that's why a lot of baby boomers are having such a hard time grasping Bitcoin, because they got fed that bullshit for their entire life until the internet came along, which decentralized and will further decentralize once we can get past this bullshit control structure that we're still in. But everything is better decentralized. You don't need a human to control things. We talked about the difficulty adjustment there. Nice thing about that is it's code. There's no human implication there. Nobody can wake up and have a bad day and decide, you know what, we're going to make Bitcoin the network very difficult today. Nobody can do that. Nobody can wake up and say, oh, we're going to print 2 million more Bitcoin today. It's in the code, and people vote with their nodes to follow that code. So humans can vote on it. Humans can decide what we use, but you need a decentralized structure there. You can't have humans making decisions, because humans are very irrational and very emotional and make horrible decisions, which has led to where we are today. Number four, save for freedom tomorrow. Low time preference. Valuing the future more than the present allows you to build a freer, more prosperous future. Although, this is one thing I don't really agree with. I do in terms of saving, but in terms of actually living, I think that this is horrible advice. And the reason I say that is because I'm just in the process of reading a book called The Power of Now. And it talks about how both past and future are just complete illusions, completely illusionary. The only thing you have is right now. That's it. That's all you will ever have. But in terms of saving, in terms of actually thinking about your financial future and your family, then yes, it does make sense. Saving financially, you should be thinking about the future. And I actually want to give a shout out to Jerry Loves Freedom, because I watched a couple of his videos yesterday, and he talks about this. It's like buy 1 sat today for tomorrow, for your family tomorrow. And things like buying Bitcoin for your last name, not your first name. That's this kind of point here. So number 5 is markets reward value, not intentions. This is important too. Good intentions don't guarantee results. Focus on creating real value for others. Nobody gives a shit. I shouldn't say that because I'm a big idea guy. But at the same time, it's like I talk about my ideas to maybe somebody else will do it. But having an idea isn't worth shit. Zero. An idea is completely worthless unless it's actually put into action and adds value to people. So instead of trying to come up with the next big thing, focus on what you're good at and strengthen that and add value to the world. And whether you're earning fiat or you're earning Bitcoin, it doesn't matter. As long as you're adding value, you're going to be able to get ahead in life, especially if you're saving it in Bitcoin. But that's the key there, is focus on creating real value for others, not just intentions. Intentions and ideas aren't worth shit. Number 6, we all know this one. Inflation is a silent thief. Protect your purchasing power by investing in solid assets. Bitcoin fits well with these principles. So, I mean, that's kind of what we're living through right now too, is with inflation. It's like the people who have assets. If you have money in the stock market, if you have real estate, if you have land, if you have gold, if you have silver, those prices are going up with inflation. So you're keeping up with inflation still. Bitcoin, you're getting way ahead of inflation, but it's the people who don't have assets. It's the people who can't afford to buy assets. They're the ones who are really being hurt by this inflation because they don't have assets. All the assets that they have are going into paying for groceries and paying for rent, and everything around them is going up. They don't have anything in the background that they're holding on to that's going up with inflation. So if you do have any solid assets, or if you have any cash, put it in solid assets. And I don't think I need to tell you that, but it's still part of the show here. Number 7, trust voluntary cooperation. Individual freedom fosters innovation and prosperity. Imposed solutions are often less efficient than voluntary ones. Everything comes down to freedom. I know it's been like a buzzword. And in fact, here in Canada, they're actually making fun of people who value freedom. That's what that word has become. And it sucks. It really does. But at the same time, you have to understand that with Bitcoin, with anything in your life, the most important thing is that people have the ability to choose. That's it. And that's why I have zero issues with people who decide to buy Bitcoin Cash or use Litecoin or Dogecoin. I have no issues with that. If that's what they want to do, then they should have every right to do that. If they want to be in the community and they want to trade their time and energy for other things and pay for that in Dogecoin, let them. Who are you to decide what people should be using? You know what Bitcoin is. You have the conviction. You know that all of those other assets are going to slowly fall over time against Bitcoin. But that doesn't mean that people shouldn't be using other things. That's what really drives me nuts about the whole Bitcoin maximalist stuff. Is like, okay, you love Bitcoin, you only buy Bitcoin, but that doesn't mean that everybody else has to. Who are you to decide? It goes back to the freedom, and it goes back to the centralized stuff. Like you don't get to decide whether people use. It's up to them. You can help them, you can educate them, you can buy Bitcoin yourself. That's up to you. But everybody should have the freedom to choose whatever they want, as long as you're not harming other people. So there you go. I like those. Good principles to live by. That the Austrian economics makes a lot more logical sense than the Keynesian crap. Okay, well, I missed some stuff here over on Zapstream. Sorry about that, folks. All right, what do we got for time? 54 minutes. Eesh, for a show that we didn't have anything prepared for, we've done all right. Okay, well, I got to hit refresh here because I see a whole bunch of 420s coming in. I guess everybody's saving their 1,000 sats for Fat Zap Fridays, which I'm okay with. I very much appreciate the sats here, but they're not showing up. I see good morning. We are so early. Sent 420 sats. I don't know who that was, but thank you. 210 sats from somebody. Thank you. And you, the man, Jor, 420 sats. Thank you. And somebody said hump, please. 420 sats. So thank you everybody for that. I wish I could see who sent them in. How do I wish I could. Here, let me try refreshing again. Fuck, it's not working. Okay, well, maybe they'll pop up. Anyways, what else do we have here today? Should we just keep going here, or should we cut her off? Let's keep going. If you guys are here, I'm going to be here. Oh, yeah, where's that? I want to talk about Sailor again. I know. Sorry, I'm not doing cocaine here. I just have a itchy nose. Okay, so on the show the other day, we were talking about, are we still okay here? Yeah. Getting hot in this hoodie. It's supposed to be fall here. I don't know why it's so warm in here right now. Okay, so the other day we were talking about Sailor. We were talking about Bitcoin banks. And I've been, for those who watch the show, you know how much I love Sailor. I know, you know how much I've been talking about him starting a bank, him starting an insurance company, him buying, as of recent, Semler Scientific, things like that. Anything that they can do to produce cash flow, they can put into more Bitcoin that makes sense to them, they're going to do that. And bank, I think, is going to be the first one. And Sailor came out and said that himself last week, that he's going to build the biggest Bitcoin bank on earth. And I don't think that anybody can catch them at this point. They have 250,000 Bitcoin. And once you break it down and see how impossible it's going to be for anybody out there with any amount of capital to be able to get that at this point, you understand how much of a premium that puts on MicroStrategy themselves. Because nobody, in my opinion, nobody is ever going to catch MicroStrategy and Sailor with this. So that's a huge advantage. If you really believe in Bitcoin and you think that it's going to be the next currency of the world, then that's a pretty big deal. The guy who has the company that has the most Bitcoin. So it does make sense. And so this was actually somebody on Twitter shared this yesterday, and I'm going to talk about it because I said this as well. I said that even when they were emailing back and forth between Satoshi, Hal Finney, they were talking about this stuff. They were talking about the future of Bitcoin and what it could look like in 20, 30, 40 years from now. And I said that Hal Finney was a proponent of Bitcoin banks. He said it's going to be necessary. So I want to read you this, and then I want to talk about why this is okay, why this is necessary. So this was an email, or a post, I guess I should say, from Hal Finney back in 2010. So this would have been about almost 2 years after the first Bitcoin block was mined. All right, so this is what it says. Bitcoin maxi. Sailor's a clown for being pro-financialization of Bitcoin through MicroStrategy and other corporations. One of the original Bitcoin maxis, Hal Finney, says this. Actually, there is a very good reason for Bitcoin-backed banks to exist, issuing their own digital cash currency redeemable for Bitcoins. So Hal says Bitcoins. I like Bitcoins too. I know most people prefer Bitcoin, plural, but I like Bitcoins. And so did Hal. Bitcoin itself cannot scale to have every single financial transaction in the world be broadcast to everyone and included in the blockchain. Right. There needs to be a secondary level of payment systems which is lighter weight and more efficient. Likewise, the time needed for Bitcoin transactions to finalize will be impractical for medium to large value purchases. Right. So if you think about that, just stop there for a second and think about it like this. People have this idea that we're only going to use Bitcoin, and Bitcoin layer 2 is custodial, so nobody's going to use that. eCash, nobody knows about that. But if you think about like going to a restaurant, let's say that we are on a Bitcoin standard, everybody's using Bitcoin. But if you wanted to pay for Bitcoin on layer 1, this is what it would look like. Waiter brings you your bill with a QR code on there, or however you send the Bitcoin. Let's say you send 50,000 sats for your meal. on Bitcoin layer 1. So you scan it, you send it, you set your fee, high priority probably. But even if you set a high priority, you're going to be paying too much Bitcoin for one. And if Bitcoin is really as scarce and whatever, so you're going to be paying a lot of fees for transacting on layer 1. But you're also going to send it, and then before you can leave the restaurant, there's one confirmation on that transaction, you're going to just have to stick around. And even if you set it for high priority, there's no certainty that the blocks come in every 10 minutes. So you could be done your meal, you could have paid in Bitcoin on layer 1, and you could actually be sitting at that restaurant for half an hour, waiting for that transaction, waiting for one confirmation on that transaction. So it's completely impractical. And I don't think anybody in Bitcoin is arguing that now, but I think that where people are disconnecting here is what he's talking about in this next part. So it says Bitcoin-backed banks will solve these problems. They can work like banks did before nationalization of currency. Different banks can have different policies, some more aggressive, some more conservative. Some would be a fractional reserve, while others may be 100% Bitcoin-backed. Interest rates may vary. Cash from some banks may trade at a discount to that of others. So to me, that would be like, okay, Bitcoin Bank of Sailor has 100% Bitcoin-backed reserves. So that their cash, the Sailor cash, is going to be worth more because it's 100% backed by Bitcoin. Whereas we launch a Jor coin, a Jor bank, sorry, not a coin, Jor bank, and the coin that I issue from my bank is going to be trading at a discount. It's going to be worth less than Sailor because mine's fractional reserve. I have some Bitcoin on reserve in my vaults, my cold storage, but I'm using fractional reserve lending, so it's not worth as much there. My currency, my token that can be exchanged for Bitcoin, is not worth as much as Sailor's is. So it says George Selgin has worked out the theory of competitive free banking in detail, and he argues that such a system would be stable, inflation resistant, and self-regulating. I believe this will be the ultimate fate of Bitcoin, to be the high-powered money that serves as a reserve currency for banks that issue their own digital cash. Most Bitcoin transactions will occur between banks to settle net transfers. Bitcoin transactions by private individuals will be as rare. Hold on, let me say that again. Bitcoin transactions by private individuals will be as rare as, well, Bitcoin-based purchases are today. So what does he mean by that? He means that the majority of transactions in the future on Bitcoin layer 1 will be bank settlement. So Jor Bank to Sailor Bank. We're settling transactions there. We're okay with waiting however long it takes. We want to save as many sats as we can. So we'll probably set like a low, medium priority. It arrives the next day. It's still much more efficient than the banking system we have now. Some of the actual settlements in the banking system, whether that's on your Interact card or bank to bank, they can take days, weeks, months even, if I'm not mistaken. But with this, you'd be bank to bank, you'd be country to bank, you'd be big supplier to bank, whatever it is. Those would be the people who are using layer 1 to settle transactions. The Bitcoin layer 1 transactions will essentially replace the bank wire as we know it today. So if you're buying a house with Bitcoin, you want to use layer 1. You don't want to use Lightning. You don't want to use eCash. You're going to use layer 1. And you can wait a couple hours or a day for that to settle, but it's going to be settled at that point. And you don't need this bank or the intermediary there or the lawyer or the other lawyer. You just need peer-to-peer. So that's what layer 1 is going to be used for. But what he's saying is that banks are going to hold Bitcoin. They're going to have Bitcoin on reserve. And this is, El Salvador has already kind of adopted this model where they have Bitcoin-backed bonds. And you can see, if you go to their El Salvador website, you can see how much Bitcoin they have. So as a customer of Jor Bank is going to have a website. It's going to show how much Bitcoin we have. It's going to show how much we have on hand and how much we've issued out. And people are going to be able to verify that. And that's why different banks are going to trade at different premiums and discounts because the ones who have 100% backed reserves are going to be worth the most. And then you can atomically swap whatever token you have for a stable coin, for a Jor Bank coin, for a BlackRock coin, for a Sailor coin or MicroStrategy. You can trade all those back and forth, but it all comes back to Bitcoin, right? And so here's the last thing I want to talk about on that is like with Sailor, and I'm sorry I'm not keeping up with the chat here. I apologize for that. It's just I need to be kind of focused with this when I'm talking about it. But the other part of that is like, let's say that Sailor does have a Bitcoin bank, right? And I know people think that Bitcoin is going to get us away from the banks. But keep in mind that banks are not the problem here. Your local credit union is not the problem in this whole situation. It's not. It goes by the rules and regulations put down by the central banks, the Federal Reserves, the Bank of Canada. They're the problem. And so the difference here between what we have now and where we're going to with like a MicroStrategy Bitcoin bank is the central bankers, they have the ability to control all of this. They have the ability to print money, right? That's the problem. The fiat dollar, given a small group of people the ability to print money, that's the problem. It has nothing to do with your local bank. It's the fact that certain people can print money and devalue your currency. So if you look at what Sailor's would look like, Sailor would not be, he could hold Bitcoin. He could issue cash based on the Bitcoin that he had. You can verify that. But Sailor cannot print Bitcoin. That's the key. Sailor cannot print Bitcoin. And if you think about how the proof of work aspect of this, the only two ways to get Bitcoin are by buying it or mining it. And so far, everything that Sailor has, 250,000 Bitcoin, he's put in the proof of work to obtain those Bitcoins. Nobody issued those Bitcoins to him. He has no ability to print more Bitcoin. Every Bitcoin that they hold in MicroStrategy, they have earned. They've added enough value to society where people gave them fiat, their customers of MicroStrategy, they gave them fiat. They've converted that into Bitcoin. They've used very cheap debt to obtain more Bitcoin. That's a strategy. It's all done fair. He didn't print any Bitcoin. That's the difference between the central banks and a bank like MicroStrategy Bank. He would not have any ability to print Bitcoin. They can manipulate, and I'm sure that there will be bad banks out there who offer, high rates. They're very fractional. They're, very weak on the asset side compared to the liabilities, and they'll fail. They might say that they have a bunch of Bitcoin. They might not put their balance up on a website, and they will fail. But the banks that are honest, the banks that are transparent, and that you can actually verify, they will succeed. It's going to be exactly like in like the 1930s where banks held. This is a perfect analogy of it, right? Think back to the 1930s, before they confiscated, before they defaulted on their debt. What you would do is the banks would hold gold in their vaults, right? Just like they're going to hold Bitcoin. It's the exact same thing, except this is even better. Because back in 1930, the banks, they had gold in the vaults. Some of them did, some of them didn't. There was no way to verify that. Unless you had a camera of your piece of gold that you deposited for banknotes or e-cash in this case, you could not see how much gold they had in there. There was no way for them to verify that, customers. Whereas with Bitcoin, you don't need a camera in there. You don't need to trust them. They put up their website, they put up their address, just like El Salvador has done, and you can go verify that yourself. So it's going to be like even 1960, like the world went to shit in 1971 when we went completely off the gold standard. But think about how good things were back in the 1880s, 1890s, early 1900s, before this centralized Federal Reserve bullshit was created. We're going to go back to that exact same time, except better. So that's kind of the message I wanted to share, because I think that a lot of people are not making that connection to it. They think that Sailor having a Bitcoin bank is somehow a bad thing. It's not. It's what has to happen here. So again, I apologize for missing all the comments here. But I think it's important. I think it's important to understand that. All right. What do we got over on Zapstream? I see Plunger over there. Good morning. Sunshine to infinity and beyond. Justin Trudeau says, will you attend the Bitcoin Well seminar today? Actually, I will. I think I'm going to do that. I got to remind myself to do that, but I'm going to do that. I think it's at, what time is it at today? They're answering questions about self-custody and stuff. I think it's just going to be something fun to do today. Excuse me. Bitcoin Well webinar. I think it's around noon. Let me confirm that. Hold on. Fuck, I hate Twitter now that you have to be logged in to get that. Give me one sec here. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to find out what time the thing is today. And then we're going to catch up on some comments. And then we're going to call it a day. Okay, Bitcoin Well responded to me here. Where was that now? Where is it? I don't know. Friggin' Twitter, man. I don't know. It's sometime today. If you want to check it out, sorry, just wasted 30 seconds of your time there. If you want to check it out, just go to Bitcoin Well's Twitter account and they have all the information there. I think it's Bitcoin Well, Bitcoin Way. They're putting on a seminar today. Probably worth checking out. I think it's going to be on Spaces. Maybe not, though. Who knows? What do we got here? There, yeah, okay. Ashoka sent in 500 sats. Look at that. Claim, third time's a charm. Thanks to Bitcoin Journey, top content, and thanks to Bitcoin Well. So Ahsoka won the 500 sats today and zapped it back. Thank you. That is awesome. Thank you. My Path to Fire says store of value seems to be the main use case right now. Yeah, I think that's the thing that we have to remember. It's like it's going to be the reserve. It's like we had a gold reserve standard. Nobody's paying for things with gold, but the currency was backed by gold. That's the difference here. And yes, and I still think that this is my theory on it. I think that people will still be using Bitcoin. Like Bitcoiners who are here today, I'm going to say before January 2024, the people who own Bitcoin before that, the people who have UTXOs right now, they are still going to be transacting in Bitcoin. Maybe not as, they won't be sending 88 sats around every day, but they'll be able to do it because it's completely out of the system. I think for a lot of these things, you're going to have to KYC yourself, like with the MicroStrategy Bank. Obviously, to get an account there, you're probably going to need to verify yourself, right? And so with that comes regulations, it comes taxes, comes all that stuff. So it's going to be there, it's going to be available, but you're going to have to KYC yourself. Whereas with Bitcoin, the Bitcoiners who are here now, they're going to be able to transact if, assuming good things, not the worst. But Bitcoiners are going to be able to send sats back and forth with each other without anybody knowing where they came from, right? So there's going to be like the thing that most people use. They trust the banks with their Bitcoin. They want to use that currency. Merchants will accept that currency. But there's going to be smaller communities form, like me, like you, and we're going to be able to send Bitcoin back and forth without anybody else knowing what happened there. It's like the best of both worlds for us right now. That's why it bothers me so much that there's so many pessimistic Bitcoiners out there. It's like we could not be in a better position than we are right now. It would be impossible to be in a better spot that we're in right now. Impossible. All right, what did I miss here? Lowry's under a gag order, yes. Speaking on Bitcoin by the NSA. Correct. Wish the government didn't ban physical copies of his book. You can get it for free online. Yes, and I would recommend it. Although I haven't read it myself, it's a little bit too much of a read for me. I get the concept of it, but just watch some interviews with Lowry. He's been on with like Breedlove. I think they did a long interview together. He's been on a couple different big shows. Bitcoin's crashing. Bull runs over. Yeah. Yeah, it's over. Sell everything. Dustin said, sorry, not Dustin, Duncan. I question everything I buy now and work out how many sats I'm losing. Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? I don't even remember the last time I bought something just like off a whim, online, in real life. I just don't do it anymore. I'm like, should I spend $80 on this shirt, or should I buy Bitcoin? Should I spend $80 or $300 on this speaker, or should I buy Bitcoin? There's just so much crap out there that we don't need. Oh, there we go. Jason Lowry's LinkedIn is way more active. His interview on What is Money with Robert Breedlove was gas. There you go. That's what I was talking about. Nick says, anyone using Rivers earn Bitcoin on cash holdings yet? So that was a big announcement yesterday. They announced that they're going to be, which makes sense. If you got cash on River, you don't want to buy Bitcoin. You want to wait for a better price. Why am I blurry? There we go. You can just, River is going to pay, I think, 3.8% interest in Bitcoin. I should get a River link. Somebody who's in Living in the Future, send me your River referral code and I'll put it in my show notes and you can get the benefits from it. But I feel like anytime you're signing up for anything, you should always have a referral code. There's always some sort of incentive there. Never just sign up for an account you're on your own. Always ask for a referral code. So I'm going to get a River referral code. If I remember, I'll put it in the show notes. But River, in my opinion, from what I've heard, is the second best Bitcoin exchange in America. Number one being Bitcoin Well. His hands and lips are tied until he's out of the Space Force. Yeah, that makes sense. I think there's a lot of people who are zipped up right now. Ooh, look at this. Tommy D throwing his, what a flex. River announcement is huge. Always sending 6 digits there in 2 weeks. I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? Like, you want to hold cash on there and you don't want to buy Bitcoin right now. You want to use it for purchases. Like, very solid idea. And even going, like, thinking about this from my own life logistically, like we've talked about managing your cash and Bitcoin situation. My advice, like, for these next couple of years, like at the start of every month, figure out how much you're going to need to spend, like on groceries, on gas, on things that you can pay with your Visa card or with cash, and put buy 50% of it. Like, say you have $2,000 worth of expenses, or $4,000 probably for most people. You put $2,000 in Bitcoin, you buy that. You leave $2,000 in cash. When Bitcoin's up and you need to spend some, you sell Bitcoin and buy that. When Bitcoin's down, you spend your cash. And with River, you'd actually be able to do the exact same thing, except you'd be earning interest on your cash part of that equation. And that interest is actually paid out in Bitcoin. Everything's going to move away from the banks. Like, don't have such a negative connotation around banks. Like, River's probably going to be a bank in the future. They kind of already are. They're taking people's cash deposits. They're paying them interest. What the fuck does a bank do? And River probably provides much better customer service than most banks. So I know everybody wants this stuff to happen overnight, but it just takes time. And we're living through it right now. Hey, Bodie's here. When you have a long time horizon, it's smooth out the peaks and valleys. Exactly. Mikkel says, what's the Bitcoin sign company's website? It's bitcoin.rocks, but I wasn't able to find it from there. So if you have Nostr, look up Bitcoin Rocks on there. Or hold on, just give me 1 sec. I'll try to get you an answer for this because I kind of screwed it up before. I see Bank of Canada is trending on Twitter right now. What happened? Did they lower rates again? Hold on, let me focus on one thing at a time here. Bitcoin.rocks. Okay, here we go, folks. Here we go. So if you're on Nostr, just go to Bitcoin Rocks account and you have all of the stuff there. That's what I was missing. So the educational website itself is bitcoin.rocks. And then the Bitcoin sticker packs, if you want to order some, you just put in your mailing address, bitcoinrocks.com/stickers. If you want a Bitcoin election sign for the USA only, you can go to bitcoin.rocks/signs. And if you're a business and you're accepting Bitcoin, you can actually go to bitcoin.rocks/business/stickers. And there's also a kit there. And there's postcards. I mean, if that's not enough reason to join Nostr today and get on Bitcoin Rocks and follow them and get some free sats, I don't know what is. So that's everybody's actionable items for today. If you're on Nostr, just go order some stickers. If you're in the US, get some yard signs, get some postcards. But if you're not on Nostr yet, get a Nostr account, go to their Bitcoin Rocks and get some stickers and yard signs. You're going to get free sats, 21,000 sats for putting up a yard sign and taking a picture of it. It's going to be my thumbnail today. Bitcoin Rocks, give away Bitcoin. Bodie says, watched a great movie the other night called The Forge. What's that about? Actually, you don't have to answer that. I have a Google. I can look it up myself. My fucking pen's broken, though. The Forge. All right. I'll check it out. Oh, Dan says, no mulligans. Yeah, that's the other part of that I forgot to mention there, too. No mulligans in the show, in the documentary coming out. It's called Bitcoin Golf Tour, BGT. Retro Beaver says, the wife and I decided to put our life savings into Bitcoin instead of a second property. Best decision ever. MicroStrategy getting into the S&P 500 next year? No, that's I don't know when that happens. I don't know who decides that or what happens. I think they're already in. I think they're 220 right now in the market cap. And here's the thing with MicroStrategy that's crazy to me. It's like, all right, they're 220 right now. As we go through this next year, obviously the value of their company, their market cap is going to go up. So they might move to 150, then they might move to 100, and then they're going to jump to like number 20. And then they're going to, maybe next cycle, they're going to get up to or before that, they're going to get up to 5 and then 4 and then 3, 2, 1. And if Bitcoin is the reserve currency of the world and MicroStrategy has the most of that, they're going to get to number 1 and they're never going to leave number 1. How could they leave? Somebody going to come out with a product that's going to outperform where they are at that time? No. That's the crazy thing, is they're going to get to number 1, probably, assuming everything goes right. Like, there's so much risk involved here with government, with MicroStrategy losing the keys, with them making paper Bitcoin. There's a lot of risk involved, but assuming that Saylor's intentions are good, assuming they're doing things properly, once they get to number 1 on the stock market, done. It's done. They're going to be there forever, for the rest of our lives. So, I mean, it's probably worth just like, buying, if you got some money in your pension, your savings account, it's probably worth like buying 20 shares of it and, sell 10 shares next year, pay no tax on it if you do it properly, pay off some debt, buy yourself something nice, but hold on to those other 10 shares forever. Just look at it like your Bitcoin. Sell some, keep some forever. Bodhi says, asking for a friend, thoughts on short-term 6-month CDs. Like CDs, like music? Just kidding. No, never. Not right now. Like, I'm thinking in the next 2-3 weeks, maybe a little bit more, maybe into November, like Bitcoin's going to go up 20, 25, 30%. And no CD is ever going to be able to compete with that. Just buy some Bitcoin now, buy some MicroStrategy now. If you have intentions for those CD, whatever they're putting into that, just tell them to put it into Bitcoin, something related to Bitcoin for like the next 6 months, and then sell half of it, keep half of it, pay off whatever you need to. It's going to get you way further than leaving it as just a deposit in a bank somewhere. That's probably the last place I'd keep it right now. But what do I know? I'm just a guy in rural Canada with his dog. Where is Arnie? Trying to summon Arnie right now. All right, let's what do we got here? Oh, there we go. I saw it was trending on Twitter. Bank of Canada just dropped interest rates by 0.5, 50 basis points down to 3.75%. I mean, it's not good. It's not good, but it's good. So rates are dropping. That means that they're not very confident in the economy right now. Silver's running up. Gold's running up. We have an election coming. We're going to have a president in the United States, the most important country on earth. Well, probably will be. Going to have a president in 2 weeks from now who's Bitcoin friendly. Like, I don't like to really be too, like, hypey, but holy fuck. Most people have no idea what's coming here. Most Bitcoiners are underestimating what's coming here in the next 12 months. MicroStrategy from UJ5K. MicroStrategy has to have positive earnings, which could happen with FASB fair value changes. Yes, that comes into effect, I think, January this year, correct? I don't know, to get into the S&P. So it doesn't sound like it's going to be a problem for them, from my understanding of it anyways. I'm not, Parker just, I wish I had a fresh cup of coffee here. I'm kind of the last 25%. All right, I think that's a good time here. Let's see what this last question is from Aljo McFly. Owning Bitcoin is probably the most anti-establishment and anti-NWO thing ever. It gives you something to look forward to, and speaking from my outlook, that is a lot these days. Or let's say it like this. Owning Bitcoin is believing in a better tomorrow. What a perfect way to end the show. Isn't that the truth? I know that people can speak on that, would agree with me there, and would agree with Aljo. Before Bitcoin, I was in a world of hell. It's that point in life where you realize that you've been lied to about everything. Well, not everything. You don't really realize that off the start, but you realize you've been lied about some important things. And you start sniffing around, and you go down this rabbit hole, and you go down this rabbit hole, and you want to talk to somebody about it, and your family thinks that you're bonkers. And you're like, okay, well, people are telling me that I'm an idiot, but my eyes and my brain tell me the opposite. So then you keep sniffing around, and you say, okay, well, maybe everything I've been taught in life, in school, in university, at my job, maybe it's all been one big lie. And you're like, holy shit. That's a very hard realization for people to come to. I remember that. I remember going through that myself. And it's easy to, write it off now. And, just going down this road, it's like, understand that your friends and your family are going to be going through this. And you have to be, even though you think it's kind of silly because you went through it already, you have to be very empathetic for them. You do. And this might sound silly to some people. I don't really give a shit. But it's true. Like, you have to understand, and you have to meet people where they are. And you don't have to make them feel silly. You don't have to, try to get them to go down this and try to push them anywhere. You just have to be there, I think, to have somebody that they can talk to. But in that time, it's like a very dark time, because you're like, holy shit, I've been lied to about everything, literally everything. And we're screwed. Because you're still like, okay, well, we've been lied to, but I still want to know what's going on. So I'm listening to these things, and they're telling me that, all the black pillars out there, all the preppers, they're like, okay, the world's going to end. We're going to be living on a silver standard. I'm going to go out and buy a whole bunch of silver and gold. And then you realize that, what? Humans have figured this out for hundreds of thousands of years, and we're going to figure this out. And not only are we going to figure it out, but it's going to be better than anything we could ever imagine before. And I think you just have to get to that. That's what Bitcoin provides you with. As Aljo says here, owning Bitcoin is believing in a better tomorrow. It's exactly what it is. For yourself, for your family, this is why I call it Bitcoin is multi-generational wealth. And it's hope. Bitcoin is hope. For myself, for a lot of people here. So anyways, the last thing I'll say on that is, like, if that sounds like you, if that sounds like kind of what you're going through right now, you realize that everything's a lie. You want to go down different rabbit holes. You want to learn. You want somebody to talk to about that. I would highly encourage you to go into the show notes here. It says Living in the Future. Join that community. We have a Signal chat that's very active every day. We have a Discord channel that's active as well. Not as much discussion about like current things happening, but more like resources. So on there you have, I'm going to zip through them again here because it's fucking awesome that this exists, really. So we have Nostr Connect, where everybody puts in their NPub, everybody follows each other. So you kind of already have like a community there on Nostr when you start. Nostr General for questions around Nostr. Bitcoin General, Bitcoin mining, Bitcoin wallets, Bitcoin nodes, Bitcoin help, Lightning, OPSEC resources, introductions where you can share, who you are, what you're looking for, what you can offer, business, finance, entrepreneurship, ideas, healthy living, book club, programming, the arts, memes, quotes, music, and feedback. And so that's kind of like the library and resources for everybody. And they're going to be there when you need it. So if you're trying to learn things on mining or wallets or nodes or Lightning, whatever it is, or security, you can always just go hop in here and check out what other people have shared. And for the next little while here, I'm going to be doing like a little crash course for myself too. Like, this isn't just for me to be talking, preaching to people. I'm going to go through exactly what we're going to need from basically start to finish of how we're going to protect what we have, and not only protect what we have, but there's so many different moving parts here that most people aren't even aware of. And that's a problem that a lot of Bitcoiners are going to run into, is that they don't know what they don't know. And so that includes things like passphrases, decoy wallets, labeling your wallets, setting some aside for Lightning, setting some aside in a fund, in a decoy wallet, how much in your main stack. Like, we're going to go through all of this, and I'm going to do it on the secondary show, because there's some things that I'm going to say that I don't want like the general public to know for our safety more than anything else. Like, if I'm talking about how to secure, exactly, UTXOs, there's so much stuff that people don't really know that is going to impact their Bitcoin future. And if you're missing certain parts of that, it's going to cost you a lot in the future. So what I would say is, if you're somebody, if that kind of excites you a little bit, if you're somebody who does want other people to talk to, if you want resources there on hand anytime, somebody to ask questions to, or just bullshit about Bitcoin, that's number one. But then if you want to be part of this, like, I'm going to call it generational wealth, like protecting your generational wealth. It's going to be like a 8 to 10 part thing. And we're going to walk through each one, and not just like you should do this, but how do you do it? Where do you go? What do you download? What are the links to it? It's very easy to buy Bitcoin. Buying Bitcoin's the easiest part. Sending it to your cold storage, also very easy, but there's 10 layers on top of that you have to be aware of in order to save a bunch of pain in the future. So just think about it as an investment today for the future. Pay a little bit today, invest some time, invest a little wee bit of your money. If you join Living the Future for 6 months, that's $30 fucking. 30. Do you know how many people I've talked to in the last couple of weeks who have spent $200, $300, $400 on a device and they don't even use it anymore because they're like, okay, well, this, I was lied to here. It was a Ledger, a Trezor, a Tangent wallet. It's like people spend so much trying to protect themselves, but they don't really know what they're even protecting themselves against. So that's my encouragement to you, is just get on there. I'm going to start doing this in the next, probably either early next week or the week after. I want to make sure I have like a roadmap for it. And it's going to be for people who are somewhat new to Bitcoin and Bitcoiners who have been around for a while. There's going to be parts of this that you might be missing, that I'm missing right now, that I want to put in this course so that I do it too. Right? So there's going to be some more basic stuff kind of to start, and then we're going to gradually go into where we should be. And the beauty of it is you're not going to have to do it all in the time. You know, I'll probably do a couple episodes every week for a month, but you're going to have access to those anytime you want to. Like, let's say you have a busy November, you can go back in January and watch all those videos and check them off your list, because it's going to be so important. Understand what you're holding here and understand how much value it holds. And if you fuck this up, like, I don't mean to say it like that, but it's true. Like, you're holding multi-generational wealth right now. And if I was talking and you're like, okay, well, I don't know what that is, or maybe I should learn a little bit more about that, then just join. Join now. For the next week, you can kind of interact. You join the chat, join the Discord, and then when we start doing this course, you're going to be set up for it. You're not going to be scrambling. So the only way you're going to be able to access those is through the Living in the Future. So go there, click that, join, and you can do 7 days for free too, if you want to. I see the grinder over in the chat. 121 sat zap. Thank you, my friend. Love the grinder. I got to get back into some grinder feeds here. Speaking of that, when's the next golf tournament? I want to do another live stream for the golf. That was fun. And Grinder was doing the soccer for a while too. I like that. I don't like soccer, but it was fun to be a part of that. All right, let's Bitcoin changes everything. Jordan, his community brings, sorry, Bodhi, I'm just reading things here. I'm trying to catch up in my head and with my mouth. Jordan, this community brings buku value from Bodhi. What's buku? What the heck is buku? Is that a word or is that a typo? I don't know. Oh, a lot. Okay. Boku. I think that's just what he means, which is a lot of value. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you join for 6 months, it's $30. 30. 30. Yeah, Boku. I got you. I looked it up. Tommy D says, and this is actually another part that people could be interested in. This is something that I just implemented into my stuff here. So Tommy says, how many sats for a 30-minute consultation? Well, I don't really do 30-minute ones. I mean, I could. I go by the hour. But the nice thing about, and I haven't even talked about this on the show yet, but all Living in the Future members going forward here, it's going to be 50% off. So kind of what I've been telling people who have been reaching out to do consultation for cold card, for anything that they need, it's 50% off for Living the Future members. So it's like, okay, you can either pay this price or you can join Living the Future and you can get 50% off. So you're going to save like 2 years worth of membership just by, and join a community for it. So it's, I don't know what the sats is, but anyways, if you're interested in like a consultation, make sure that you join Living the Future first. I always tell people this too. I don't want to rip people off. I just say, join, we'll do a consultation. You'll get 50% off of it and you can try out the community for a while. And if you don't like it, then you just leave, but you still saved 50% of the consultation fee. And people have been liking that. So we're going to keep doing that. Jason says 99% have no idea of the psychological propaganda that have been implemented, especially in the Western world. Oh my God. It's truly sickening. It's truly Sickening. UTXOs is also going to be covered in the course, the multi-generational course. Liquid Lightning, transacting stealthily. That's going to be one day. We're going to talk about like managing your Bitcoin, using Aqua, using Bitcoin well, how to do it, how much to keep on each. It'll be good. Waro. Hey, you never sent in your Lightning address. You were the winner of the 88 sats today. So you got about a minute here. If you throw your Lightning URL, I'll send you some 88 sats here on the show. And we got Tommy and Bodie saying, living in the future group is incredible value. See, it's not just like, I'm not making this shit up. I'm not. We got real life testimonials in the chat here who have been in living in the future for quite a while now. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. The sleep in today, the no preparation today, and we still banged out an hour and 40 minutes of a show. That's Bitcoin for you. And we could probably go for another 2 hours here. I'd just run out of a voice, but we could do it. All right, Boku, everybody beat me to that. Everybody beat me to that. Okay. Well, Wara, I'll get you another day, or shoot me an email. Find a way to get a hold of me. I'll send you 88 sats. You were the winner of the 88 sats today. Dietary Car says they're trying to hijack the age of Aquarius with the transhumanism. Yes. Just like they always attempt to do with all the other past ages. Exactly. All right, folks. Have a great hump day. Maybe the best hump day of your life today. And shout out to everybody who liked the show today. We're going to get to 4,000 subscribers, I think, this week. So if you're watching this today, either now or later, make sure that you subscribe. Consider it an investment in Bitcoin by growing awareness, growing adoption, spreading awareness, educating people on, the proper way. This is my biased opinion on it, but there's a lot of channels out there who have very ill intentions. And there's way too many people who are falling for that stuff. So help out the channel. Press the like, subscribe if you haven't. Send a zap on your way out. And big shout out to everybody who did send in some zaps today for hump day. All right. Let's leave it there today. And thank you, Duncan. Enjoy your day as well. I think we're going to set our new record for amount of likes today. So anyways, have yourselves a great day. Thanks again for being here. Thanks for all the zaps. And we'll see you right back here first thing tomorrow morning. We're going to be talking about nostr tomorrow a little bit. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.